It's exactly the curiosity of the materials because it's a brewed protein, which is artificial protein materials. When I see materials, it's wow. I have never seen this kind of materials. So I was really into these materials, and because in human history we didn't have these materials, so it's such a beautiful story because we didn't have these materials, but now we have, and we tried something. Everything will be new because we didn't have these materials. So I was really into these materials, and but at that time it's still laboratory level, and when it's put in the water, 40% shrink. So everybody thinks this is a negative because when you wear this, if you're in the rain or sweating, it's gonna be 40% shrink. So we are not able to wear this. So the engineer was really like try to stop the shrinking. But I thought this is such a unique point of this materials. So I thought it's for something. So that's a starting point of trying to learn this. And then in the end, I discovered biosmoking technique. And it's able to control the shrinking materials and create three-dimensional forms. So I was enjoying this, playing with this three-dimensional forms.
Well, the other thing that I find really interesting, aside from technology and modernity, is how somehow with all this technology, there's always an emotion. There's like, how do you match the two? Because people are always afraid of the future. But every time there's emotion, like the last show, of course, but like everything.
Well, for me, the technology is kind of tools. So for me, starting with the vision of the future, in my mind, there are kind of like future visions, and then I need tools to realize these visions. So I'm always looking for something new tools to realize in my mind that there were like beautiful visions in my mind. So I always knew the technique, or not only the new, sometimes I go into very traditional technique, or whatever. I try to find tools and collecting each other to realize their vision. So that's I'm facing to the technology.
Also, like when we're talking about the collection inspired by all the trash, mountains of trash in Africa, the emotion you must have felt being there, like how many people walk through those volcanoes of trash, and then to hear them say, stop making clothes.
Yes, well, this is actually, honestly, it was a curiosity to see what's happening there, because this is also the phenomenon of human or social issues. Always there might be hints to find solutions, or might be something hint for the future. So that's why I need to read to see what's happening there. That was a motivation to traveling to the Kenya. And of course, at that time I was very shocked. It's very disappointed. But at the same time, I try to find again the solutions with this kind of issues. So that again, the technology might be tools to see something hope in this kind of like a disappointed situation.
Because normally when you mix the fibers, you can't break it down, right? And somehow you figured that out.
You mean this?
In your textiles, you broke down material that had different fibers, which is almost impossible to do.
So this technique is trying to make the powder from the second-hand clothes, and to becoming the non-woven fabric. But this non-woven fabric is very difficult to wear because usually we use for the masks. So it's very fragile and not able to wash, or it's really actually the sensitive materials. And people think always this is really cheap material. So I thought it's very impossible to create something luxury designed together with this non-woven fabric. But again, I thought this might be twisted, this idea. Impossible might be possible. So that was the starting point. So if it's because the materials is the values of the materials was 0 or maybe minus, but if this materials bring to the couture, could be something happen. So that's what I saw. So if we are able to add some value, minus to plus, this is most important for innovations. So actually, it's not about technique or technology. I mean, designer has to add value always. So actually, that's a core activity or core action for me to do, adding value from minus to plus. So that's the most experimental part, and also for me it was very exciting to do this.
And here's the last question, because I don't know how long I can go on. Did you meet Sidi Larbi when you were in Antwerp?
Well,
you met
actually
him when
not.
you were in school? No.
Actually not. But the Bradley, is a key person, and he connected each other. And CD visited my show, and that was a starting point. And now collaborating each other, his projects or my projects, so it's a really good relationship.
And there's going to be something in February in Paris?
Yes, the January we did a collaboration, we did a show, and also we did the opera for GTG, Grand Theatre Geneva, the February, and also this
it was
June.
already happened last February.
Yes, and
Okay.
also this June, the latest collection also we are working together. So upcoming collections also working with the city.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yes.
It's a beautiful combination. Great.
Thank you.